Welcome to our workshop video on sensor errors and sensor error corrections. Now, most of you have probably taken a photo and later realized, I had a blotch on the lens. Maybe a couple drops of water, a little bit of lint. You can see that here in the image. There's a blotch like that, and it's taken shape in the image. Here's another one. You can see how both the color and the brightness are different in these places. To handle and correct these errors, you can use the options in Remove Sensor Errors, which is at the very bottom of the right side when finalizing the image. And click this option, and a new window opens, and you can now remove these sensor errors in this new window. How does that work? How can you recognize these sensor errors well? Well, one way is to use the contrast view, which I'll click on now. It produces a framing line, and if we take a closer look, we can see there's a small circle in this view. The sensor error is located because it's recognized as a contour. And this is a relatively good way to detect sensor errors in your image. However, not every circle is necessarily an error. Circles can also indicate details. However, you can generally recognize errors better. That would be an example of a detail. And now let's deactivate that again. Now we've found where the sensor errors are located. And if you want to correct these errors, click here on this brush symbol. You can use it to define a new contour area and position it here with the mouse. If you want, you can use the slider over here to change the size of the area, or you can use the plus and minus. Minus makes it smaller and plus larger. Then simply click to create the area. What happens then? The program now looks for what's called the corresponding area, which is the area in the image that best matches the area selected. Always make sure to make the correction area a little larger than the actual error. I'll deactivate the function again. And you can see, you can see that the error is much smaller than the correction area. We can make it a little smaller using the minus key, and when we do so, you can see how the area found changes. However, you shouldn't make the area so small that it barely covers the error, then the correction doesn't work. We need a little more space around the error for the correction to work well. That gives the program something it can use to base the correction on. To create another correction area, you can either press the button for adding a new area, or use the key N for a new area. That lets you stipulate as many areas as you want. And as you can see, it's quite easy, and it works very well. And if we also add an LUT style here in the LUT program, just a moment, let's open one of those. Let's use this yellow field here. We see that also works relatively well. However, a considerable change to the image, such as cropping, can cause areas to shift or change, of course. You would need to recalculate the correction in that case. And this is how that works. You open the module, and let's display all the areas. And simply click on this little calculator symbol with the correction areas next to it. And then the program recalculates all the areas. And you can close the window again, and this is then adapted to the new processed image accordingly. With that, I'd like to thank you for listening, and see you next time.